What is up, Flyover family? Welcome to the 7th episode of the Offseason Grind Show. And today we have so much to talk about, like the rookies' jersey numbers, a Jihaad Campbell update apparently nobody has seen yet, and so much more. So without further ado, let's fly on into it. So in terms of the rookie jersey numbers, this may be kind of a hot take, but in my opinion, jersey numbers are kind of important. Not the end all be all, not the most important thing, not by any means, but it is kind of important due to the extent and due to the reasoning of, look good, play good, feel good, all that good stuff, or however the case. So in my opinion, quarterbacks, should have certain numbers. Same thing with receivers, linemen, tight ends, running backs, etc. That being said, Jihaad Campbell's going to be wearing number 30. I don't really have an opinion on that. I mean, for linebacker, there's not really too many numbers that don't look good on a linebacker. Pause no diddy just to be safe. Andrew Makuba, he's going to be wearing number 24. I think for safety, obviously Kobe, number 24. No problem with it. Ty Robinson, a.k.a. the Vanilla Gorilla, he's going to be wearing number 95, sorry. But yeah, overall, just really excited to see him play and things of that nature and how he'd fit next to a Jalen Carter and potentially Jordan Davis, since he can line up pretty much anywhere. Mac McWilliams, he's going to be wearing number 22. Smell Munden Jr. is going to wear 42. Drew Kendall is going to wear 66, and Kyle McCord is going to wear 19. Miles Hinton is going to wear number 78. Cameron Williams is going to wear 73. Antoine Powell Ryland is going to wear number 93. Things of that nature. So again, not the end all be all or however the case, but it is kind of important because you got to look good, to feel good, to play good, and things of that nature. So again, not the end all be all, but it is sort of important. In terms of the rookie mini camp and things of that nature, Jihaad Campbell, he was there for the rookie mini camp, but he was just stretching and things of that nature because he is still rehabbing his torn labrum, which his doctor said shouldn't keep him out of the starter training camp. That's the update that apparently nobody's seen. He should be expected to be ready to go for the beginning of training camp, so we'll be able to see where he fits in and things of that nature. Not saying completely game ready, but something. He'll be able to do a little more than just stretch essentially. So, but yeah, I don't know if nobody's seen it or however the case, but everyone's acting like he's not going to be ready till next year. We won't even see him on the filter next year. We'll see a good chunk of his potential this year in terms of what he can bring and then what he can be in Vic Fangio's system. So Vic Fangio's reaction, it does say a lot, or however the case lets me know that he did have heavy influence on it and things of that nature. So I definitely trust Vic Fangio and things of that nature. So again, I haven't seen Vic Fangio smile a lot, and his big smile, whenever he's seen that we had drafted Campbell, definitely looked very, very excited. So definitely see what he could do in Vic's system. Like I said, I trust Vic, so we shall see. More good news, or however the case. Ty Robinson, a.k.a. the Vanilla Gorilla, he showcased his explosiveness and speed during day one of the rookie minicamp and his flexibility and all that good stuff. Again, I'm really excited to see how he'll fit alongside Jalen Carter and potentially Jordan Davis in potential years to come, or however the case. Ty is very versatile. He can line up pretty much anywhere and things of that nature. So obviously there wasn't any media for day two. But again, that's just what I found to be exciting, or however the case within that. In terms of general Eagles news, Dallas Goedert agrees to a $4 million pay cut. He was previously owed $14 million in cash, but it got lowered to $10 million in cash, which is a $4 million difference, and he can potentially make $1 million in extra incentives. He could have went to a poverty franchise for a little bit more money, or however the case, but he seemingly, I can't read his mind. I don't know him personally. But he seemingly chose a winning situation, to maybe try to help us one more year and also help his own situation as well. Because he's not going to get paid more money if he plays like crap. But, and even then, him being known for blocking, him being good at blocking, he is the team first guy in things of that nature. So, I don't know. We shall see. Jeff Lurie, he says that he intends to bring back the full position, saying that it's about doing what works for our team and things of that nature, and that we think there's real value there. I completely agree. All the blocking tight end signings and things of that nature, designating Ben Van Sumeren as a full-time fullback, and things of that nature, I definitely could see that potentially happening. Don't mind it at all. AJ Brown, he was asked in an interview because he got an award for like the Change Award or whatever. I'll like post it off to the side or however, but he makes his feelings about Philly clear, saying that Philly has become my home, and I'm proud to say that. I have the full quote off to the side or however the case of him accepting the award and things of that nature, but. I don't think he's going anywhere anytime soon. He loves Philly. Philly obviously loves him. He just signed an extension last year and things of that nature. And again, I have full confidence in the front office and things of that nature. So, Justin Simmons, he still sounds pretty desperate to come to Philly. I don't mind picking him up as a vet or however the case for leadership and things of that nature. But, we'll see how Howie and Fangio handle it or however. But like I said, he seems pretty desperate to be an Eagle or however the case. Tyrion Davis-Price was cut, and Britton Covey signs with the Rams. Those are the only really departures that have happened thus far. At least that I haven't already been talked about, haven't already been announced or however. I haven't talked about Britton Covey leaving yet. I haven't talked about Tyron Davis-Price being cut. They're professionals. I didn't hear anything toxic about them in the locker room, so all respect to them. I wish them the best in their future endeavors, but it is a business, and I'm not going to act like they're Barry Sanders or T.O. or whatever the case, But on the good side, the Eagles do exercise that fifth-year option with Jordan Davis. Really excited for that. At least a little more time we get to see Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis line up alongside each other. So definitely good there. Hopefully, he can make some strides or however the case, and Howie and them could figure something out or however the case to keep him on the team. I have nothing against him. Yeah, sure. He could be in a little better shape and be a little bit better versus the past. But I don't hate him. I still wish him the best. I wish he could still stay here, ideally. But yeah, I do have a little bit of some takes or however the case coming up. The top 5 power rankings going into next year. Top 10, after 5 it just gets a little it's kind of gets a little too complicated and all that. So the first 5 are kind of easy to talk about and things of that nature. So that being said, in my opinion, going into next year, going into week 1, based on what we've seen during the draft, based on what we've seen during free agency and things of that nature, based on what our front offices have shown that they were willing to do. My opinion, the best team going into next year are the Eagles. We're Super Bowl champions. I think we retooled pretty well during the draft. In free agency and things of that nature, picked up Azeez Al-Jilari, obviously re-signed to Zach Bond, and as well cleared up some cap space for future signings as well. Drafted pretty well as well. Ty Robinson, Andrew Makuba, etc. I have no reason not to believe we're the best team at this particular point in time. Number 2, the Bills. I think they drafted pretty well, in my opinion. They added good defensive pieces. Maxwell Harrison, a corner, things of that nature. They also added some linemen, some defensive edges, things of that nature. So we'll see how they actually pan out. But, from what I'm able to tell, they did a pretty good job. And, they have a franchise quarterback and, have in terms of the roster around, the quarterback or however, I believe, they've built more around them. But anyways, number 3, the Kansas City Chiefs. I couldn't put them ahead of the Bills or however the case because their wide receiver core is garbage. Travis Kelce, he is a little on the older side. Much respect to him. They still have a franchise quarterback. They still have a franchise head coach. You know what I'm saying? But it takes more than a head coach and a quarterback. It's 22 guys on the field. So all respect to them and whatnot, but they need quite a bit more. Evidently. Didn't score till we pulled out our starters. That has to mean something. Number 4, the Ravens. They drafted well. They got all offensive line help and things of that nature. In my opinion, that was really the only thing that they particularly needed. Signed a fullback and things of that nature. But overall, I don't think they're a bad team going into next year. I think they're a pretty strong team. Obviously, Derrick Henry, he played magnificent last year for them. Lamar Jackson, he didn't play bad. He played pretty great. And things of that nature. They had a pretty decent defense. So, overall, it just comes down to putting the pieces together and hoping they work. Number 5, the Rams. They drafted well. They added Devontae Adams. I think Jared Verse will continue to develop and things of that nature. They do have an established head coach. They do have an established quarterback as well. They did add defensive help and things of that nature. So, having them there may be a little bit of a hot take. I don't know. But in my opinion, going into next year, based on what they've proven, adding more players and things of that nature, quality players. Aaron Rodgers, he was washed. I'm sorry. For the New York Jets, he was the problem, not Adams. I'm sorry. He wasn't the problem. And I'm not a big, Devontae Adams fan, but I still appreciate a good player and things of that nature. So, but yeah, I do have a little bit of early predictions and things of that nature. In my opinion, we'll be a very balanced offense and things of that nature. I still see us as predominantly a rushing team. I'm not going to say, oh, we're going to pass for 5,000, 10,000 yards, but I do see us surpassing the 4,000 passing yard mark and things of that nature. And obviously us being a 3,000 yard rushing offense. The reason why I say that about the rushing offense is because since A.J. Dillon is bigger and stronger than Gainwell, I could see him maximizing his opportunities better than what Gainwell could. Not a know-it-all or however the case, but in 2023, he had 3.3 yards per carry. So 1.1 yard per carry with a way better offensive line. I don't think it's too far-fetched to say. But yeah. And then I also could see Goddard, AJ, and Smitty getting quality carries and things of that nature. I know last year Goddard got a few, Smitty got a few, and things of that nature. But I could see everyone getting carries. Smitty, he's quick. Goddard, he's good for short yardage. AJ, he's just versatile. He can do it all, so it would also help, improve his resume. If he's, interested in that or whatever, because I don't know him personally, so I can't read his mind, so. But yeah, those two things alone, I think those will improve the rushing numbers and things of that nature compared to last year. In my opinion, the offensive line that helped keep Barkley healthy last year, I think, they can have a similar process this year to keep him healthy, in terms of play calling and things of that nature, and obviously just kicking ass and being a great offensive line. That being said, I think, he can have around 1,800 yards, which is 205, 2 football fields less than last year. That matters. Now, that's a little bit less of explosive plays. That's, maybe, not having the best game once in a while. It's possible. Still 1,800 yards, still an absolute beast. And in terms of the passing part of it, I think, Jalen taking the reins in terms of calling the pre-snap protections, things of that nature, I think him gaining experience in that will allow him to be a little more efficient in terms of that and be a little more of a prolific passer. I'm not saying, prime Peyton Manning or however the case with 50-plus touchdowns and 4,400 yards. Maybe 4,000 flat. That's possible with this monstrous offense, offensive line and things of that nature. More than possible. And obviously, previously to him doing it, was Jason Kelce doing it, one of the greatest centers of all time. But now that he's doing it, I could definitely see that happening. I could also see Smitty and AJ staying healthy for the entire season. Last year, they did miss a few games. It's more than possible they play a whole season. It's possible. I'm not guaranteeing it, but I can reasonably predict that. That's my prediction, is that they stay healthy along with Jalen Hurts. I can see him staying healthy as well. And since it's also a tougher schedule, I could also see the need to stay healthy and the need to play those extra games, regardless if it's, we already got our first seed or whatever. It is a tougher schedule, so, being reasonable on both sides. And I also am a firm believer it's never too late for anybody of any position, in this case particularly quarterback, to improve. I don't think it's ever too late for a quarterback to improve. So far in his career, Jalen Hurts has proved his work ethic and his drive to improve all facets of his game, whether it be running, timing, pre-snap communication, however the case may be. He has shown that time and time and again that he's willing to improve, and that he's not, I'm Jalen Hurts, I'm the greatest of all time, greatest thing since sliced bread, I don't need to improve. He's more than willing to improve. That's important, especially when you're a quarterback. So I got no reason until prove otherwise, that he's not trying to improve or however the case may be. Defensively speaking, I think we could be top 10 overall, top 10 versus the run, top 10 versus the pass. Reason being is we still got a great core. Zach Bond, Jalen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, Jordan Davis, Nolan Smith. Those are 6 players. Those are 6 valid players that played a huge part that we retained or kept or however the case may be. And even then, we added to a possible core, adding to that potentially with Andrew Makuba in terms of the DBs or however the case, and Slay left or however, and also C.J. Gardner-Johnson got traded. Mac McWilliams in terms of a corner. I don't know his potential. I don't know all about him. I'm not an expert. It's possible. Jihaad Campbell, obviously, he's a first-round pick, so he's definitely, the defensive edge, linebacker, however the case may be. I trust Fangio is going to use it. But Ty Robinson, a versatile defensive tackle who can line up anywhere. Those are valuable assets. Those are valuable picks. So, as of now, yeah, it looks good and everything like that. Or however the case, that's why I'm backing, the system. That's why I'm backing Howie and things of that nature. So I definitely still think we have a good core and things of that nature, moving forward and things of that nature. So, and again, we kept all, I've said this through previous videos, we've kept all of our defensive coaching staff. Christian Parker, the DB's coach. Bobby King, the linebacker coach. And look what Bobby King did for Zach Bond, Oren Burks, or however the case, who got cooked last year. The same team. Got cooked by the same team. if not even better, because they had like the fast wide receiver. I forgot it, Xavier Worthy. I'm pretty sure his name is Clint Hurt, the defensive line coach, obviously the defensive coordinator Vic Fangio. Um, that's very very important. Keeping all the coaching together. We were pretty much top of everything. We were top in the run. We were the best, like number one or however the case, versus the pass. That's DBs. That's getting to the quarterback for sacks or however the case. And we didn't have a bad pass rush. It took a second to develop, but I mean it's still pretty darn good. All that to say, I think this year, this year upcoming or however the case, I think a top 10 defense is a fair prediction. And then in terms of the offense, I think AJ, Hurts, and Smitty are all going to stay healthy and whatnot. Same thing with Barkley. They're going to have monster statistical years, and things of that nature. And kind of going out with the boom, I also think we'll be repeating as Super Bowl champions. I'm not a know-it-all. I could be completely wrong. More than fair to say, I could be completely wrong in things of that nature. But I mean, hey, it's all part of it, and things of that nature. In terms of like specific stats or however the case, Jalen Hurts, I could see him getting 3,900 to 4,000 passing yards, 600 rushing yards, 13 rush touchdowns, and 30 passing touchdowns with 5 interceptions. That's reasonable. I'm not saying 50 touchdowns and 90 blah blah blah. No, something reasonable. Saquon Barkley, like I said, I can see him getting around 1,800 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns, 100 receiving yards, 2 receiving touchdowns. A.J. Brown around 1,500, 1,400. He has the skill. I could definitely see, Jalen Hurts' experience with pre-snap diagnosis and all that, coming to fruition. Devontae, I can see him with around 1,200 yards, 10 receiving touchdowns, and in terms of A.J., 14 receiving touchdowns. Absolute beast, I'm sorry. More than possible. Dallas Goedert, I could see him with like 900 yards, 2 receiving touchdowns, maybe missing a couple games. A.J. Dillon, 400 rushing yards, 4.4 per carry. Maybe like 3 rushing touchdowns. In terms of Dotson, about 200 receiving yards, maybe a receiving touchdown or 2. So again, just to kind of like total everything all up. So basically around 3,900 to 4,000 passing yards. That's my prediction. 30 passing touchdowns, 4 or 5 picks, maybe 6 at the most. 3,120 rushing offense or however the case in terms of yards. 31 rushing touchdowns, which is only 2 more than last year. And only 32 more yards. That's just basically A.J. Dillon being a better backup than Gainwell. That's fair. I'm not saying 1,000 yards more. It's 32 yards more than last year. The difference is a better backup, running back. And maybe, the quarterback being more aggressive in short yard situations due to the tush push. And then maybe, Dallas Goedert and Smitty and AJ get a few carries now and then. It's possible. I'm not saying AJ and Smitty go for 1,000 yards apiece rushing and receiving, like 1,000 yards rushing, 1,000 yards receiving. I'm not saying all that. It's reasonable. I'm trying to break it down, so it's reasonable. But yeah, like I said, I definitely see this being a power running offense or however the case, but just a little more versatility passing the ball. My only thing that I'm kind of nervous about, and I'm not even going to lie about it, is Patullo. I'm 50-50 on Patullo. I don't know much about him or however the case. He wasn't ready to take over, when he got Brian Johnson or however the case. Wasn't ready last year for Kellen Moore. So, I don't know. I'm not a know-it-all. I'm not going to say I know everything about football and this and that. I'm a humble fan who loves his Philadelphia Eagles and things of that nature. So, but yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of the Offseason Grind Show. Thank you guys so much for watching the Philly Flyover, where you get authentic Eagles passion you can trust. God bless. Philly out. Peace.